Hello, very good afternoon to everyone. Now, this is just a kind of a response video. I've been asked a lot of times through the years if I would do a wee tutorial on how I did certain painting on figures or vehicles like that. Now, I've been quite lazy. I don't have the time really. It's a full-time job, obviously. I don't have the time to sit and do proper tutorials. So I just thought I'd do this wee video for. I will do it. I'll try and do it more for each thing I complete. But I thought I'd do a wee tutorial because I've actually had a couple of private messages on Facebook, and a chap left a comment asking for advice on how we go about painting the figures on the Napoleonic Wargamer group. So I thought I'd use this as a response video. So these are my Duchy Warsaw Moravsky miniatures sculpted by Paul Hicks. Stunning figures, love them to bits. Now, first thing I do is I give the figures a spray. Now you'll see wee diamonds there. I give them a spray with a AK matte black undercoat. And as you say, if you look around, you'll see what my brother calls wee diamonds. Wee bits of metal that you can see. So I then use Army Painter matte black, go around with a brush and catch them once the spray's dry. Now, first thing I do with my figures is I start blocking in base coats. Now, I'm not the best painter in the world. Don't claim to be the best painter in the world, and this is just how I do it. And I know I can paint to no bad standard. So as you see there, I've been putting base coat in for blue. Now for these, I've been using Andrea blues. Just pop them down there. Right, so the base coat's number 6. This one in the end here. These are, I've said this in other videos before, and people have asked me. I don't know how much they cost. They might be perceived as quite expensive, but these blues are the best blues that I've ever touched. I've got no endorsement to Andrea or whatever. So base coat goes on nice and flat and rich, and then I move on to the flesh. So for the blues, I think I used number 1 this time as my highlight. Yeah, number 1 on that. I could possibly have went for another highlight to get onto blue, but I wanted to keep them dark and I wanted to keep it simple. So that's it. Andrea blues. You've got 6 options in the set to mix about with. Anyway, so I then do the flesh. Now, this is my fleshes. Now, I don't do all the fleshes right away. Right, so this has actually got a number on the top, Foundry 127B. So that gets mixed with a wee bit of brown for 28s, not for 15s. I just go straight neat with 15s. So I mix a wee bit of brown and I get a kind of browny flesh. Then I'll use that on, later on I'll use that on the highlights. I'll probably leave around the mouth area and just do one coat above the top lip just to give a kind of 6 o'clock shadow. You can see that there. Anyway, and I start to move in, mix in touches of that, which I don't know. Then as you can see the labels away, I think it's Oriental flesh or something, or another expert flesh. And this one, maybe the Oriental flesh. Again, labels are gone. But that's just to get to my final highlight on the faces. I put the eyes in these as well. Friend had done the eyes and I thought I might as well, best to do it. Now, I do a brown undercoat for my golds, and I use an Andrea brown. You can use any brown. I used to use this wee coat the arms brown, but it's almost away. It's kind of similar colour to that, so if I can get another one of them I'll go back to it, because I like how it works with gold, when gold goes on the top. Anyway, so my whites, Napoleonics. I'll give you a wee look at this book here if you can. You get different colours don't know if you can see well there, of the whites on the straps and on the clothing. Sometimes the clothing looks a kind of yellowed, but it's the wool type, and the straps being leather. They're a kind. So the clothing, especially with like the Saxon ones I done, it's the kind of a warm colour, and there's a cold colour for the straps, but that can be a roundabout as well. The straps can be quite warm looking at times. You just try to make all I'm trying to do is make a variation in the white so it doesn't just look exactly the same. You can see this here, see if I can zoom in. Sorry about the flashy. So there's a kind of, it's better to the naked eye, but so the straps are cold and the lapels and the other bits in the uniform are kind of warm white. Now I had combinations for this, and I've not been doing the Polar Onyx for a while, so I'm just slowly finding my way back in. Now, so again, it's Andrea whites. I picked these up quite cheap at a show, so I'm using, this one's a kind of light mushroom colour as the base coat. Now I used this on top of this, but there's not that much variety, variation to the colour, so the next time I'll just go to putting a wee bit of white into this to bring it out, so it stands out better. And that's what I would call the warm whites, although they're not that warm. I used to use pale sand and ivory, and then so for the cold whites I tend to go down a kind of light grey direction. I'll just bring these over. So coat the arms, do a couple of light greys and a white, but see this off white from Vallejo, that's a really nice finisher to make things stand out. Just a wee catch it or a mix. So there's coat the arm light greys. Anyway, now with things like the shackle edge, I used to just use a dark grey and then hit it with a basalt grey, but now I wanted these to stand out a bit more, so I hit it with the basalt grey and then used the London grey edge just to hit things like the ammo pouch and the top of the shackle. That's just what I'm doing anyway. Bedroll, I didn't even put a highlight on it this time. I just painted it grey. I think I painted it, did I miss? I painted it with a London grey or something similar, and then painted the straps on with a very light grey. Now my reds, I hope I'm not boring everybody with this, it's a long process. So the reds, Scorn Red Formula P3 is what I block in the cuffs and the piping, and then my highlights Vermilion Red, just as simple as that. And on the gun stock, the musket stock, I use a dark brown. It just so happens that this one is Andrea I used this time. Hull red, leaving a bit of this dark brown showing through, and then cavalry brown. Now, it's funny because like everybody see, like see when you're talking to other painters, I know Fraser VK, he uses the cavalry brown quite a lot, and I remember when Fraser was talking about it, because I had just discovered it when he was talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, so it was kind of like a confirmation that it was a good paint, because obviously Fraser's a cracking painter, and I just felt quite chuffed that I was using it, because I was mixing it with my black on horses and getting a really nice finish on that. Anyway, so the silvers I use, I'm old school with my silvers, and I wish I could get more of these. Should have bought loads of them. Now I've not got the chainmail, so the bolt gun gets mixed with black on these to try and get the colours of a musket or the colours of a reenactor's musket, because that's what I'm copying. So what I do is I put a wee bit of black in and do all the kind of metal areas, because it's a white metal in this one, and on the Polish Eagle as well on the shackle cover. Sorry, on the shackle. And then I do the bolt gun neat on the points, on the barrel and whatnot, on the bottom of the musket, and then I use a wee bit of the metal silver just to hit those metal the what is it, retaining rings or whatever on the musket, and the same on the back, just to give a wee bit of shine on the back of the canteen. So what else have I not told you about? Yeah, backpack. Straight in, I kind of medium to dark brown, and then the one that always makes things pop if I can find it. So that's your mahogany brown Vallejo. So if you look at the backpack here, I don't know if you can see, I'll try and do it. It always just makes it pop. So basically, all the straps and the light cold white, light cold grey, and then you're catching it with another lighter grey and then pinged with a bit of light grey with off-white in it. Next straps and the muskets I'm going to do red brown, I think. A kind of reddy brown. But anything else? The shackle. I hit the shackle. What one did I hit it with? Wait, I'll just tell you. Out you go, Browns. The shackle I hit with one of these two, and I can't mind what one, and I don't think it really matters. This is the Andrea black set. It's either 4 or 5. If you see the next ones I'm doing, it's a wee bit lighter looking. So it's all just a process. The polyonic figure painting takes a wee while to get to the end product. The figures, the way I'm doing it anyway, the base coats. Oh yeah, and my gold. Now I've got a couple of golds, but this is the one I tend to go with. It's a foundry gold, and that just catches. Probably when I was going a bit mad years ago, I would want to play a different metal colour, gold colour from the chin scale, so the shackle. So, I would be using different golds, and they're so small. I mean, who bloody notices when you're playing a war game and they're all laid out? You can tell if they're looking nice or not. But anyway, everybody do their own thing if they want to do different things. You see that vermilion red? I don't know if you can see that. The vermilion red of Vallejo just makes a regular red just ping. It's just a thing. I've got a deep red that I use, deep reds, and it's more closer to the hull red, and then you hit it with I think it's just a flat red or something to make the dull red kind of ping. So that's them. I hope that's some use. I hope you can understand my accent, and I apologise for the wavy cam. I'm going to get back to painting. I've got another couple of hours until I start making dinner, so all the best, happy modelling, happy wargaming, bye for now.